Our God, by His good providence, directs our lives and gives meaning to our lives. And everything that we are and everything that we do is based upon His good providence towards us. Think about all that Joseph had gone through in his life. From the time of his early days, he lost one of his parents, his mother. He was a very young man. It was a certain crisis and difficulty and trial that he had to go through. After that took place, he went through another crisis and difficulty. His family was in complete upheaval. You remember that? They were at odds with one another. In fact, they were at such odds with Joseph and had such hatred and envy of Joseph that his brothers betrayed him and sold him into slavery. In fact, even before that took place, it was very well known that really the majority of his brothers wanted to kill him. Well, not only that, he was sold into slavery. He was brought into Egypt, and then he was sold into Potiphar's home, only to be lied about again, and then put in prison again, and then coming in contact again with Egyptian officials and helping those officials, at least one of them. But Joseph still languished in prison for at least a couple more years. And then he has to go through another crisis because he's taken out of that prison and he is placed to stand right in front of Pharaoh. So he goes through another crisis of being able to and having to deal with the certain famine that he knows is coming. And certainly he did it. Their land is now in a shambles. They come to Pharaoh and they say, Pharaoh, we have to have advice. We want to survive. He says, this is how you are going to survive. You will go to Joseph, and whatever Joseph tells you to do, you must do it. These people now had come to an end of themselves. They had no strength. They had no resources. They had no hope. All they had was Joseph. And they were to do whatever he said to do. Clearly we see that you too must come to an end of yourself. You have no strength. You have no resources. You have no hope. You have no future apart from the person of the Lord Jesus Christ. You are to go to Him. Whatever He says to do, you must do it if you are going to have life. And so for them to be able to continue to survive, for them to have life, they had to place the totality of their possessions under the authority of the throne. Now, as it concerns possessions, if there is something that you possess at this current moment that you cannot place underneath the authority of the throne, is that really something that you should possess anyway? Is it possible that that may be possessing you? Is it really worth having if you cannot take that and submit it to the King? I will tell you, if you can't, then there's no life for you. There will be certain death. Listen to James chapter 1 and verse 17. We forget something, that all of our money, our purse, and all our possessions belong to someone else anyway. James chapter 1 and verse 17 puts it this way: every good and perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, in whom there is no variation nor shadow of turning. Have you forgotten that? Without Him taking you in your entirety, without purchasing you by His very own blood, there is no life for you. Joseph demanded it all. And Christ must have it all, or you will have no life at all. He bought you at a price. You belong to Him. And now the only rights you have are the rights that He establishes for you. Now I'm going to ask you a question. When you are in trouble, when you are in a trial, when there is a crisis in your life, has it not without fail made you reevaluate the purposes of your life? Has it made you rethink what is going on in your life? And could you say at least that that is a gracious gift from God, that He would make you take stock of who you are and what your purpose in life is all about? Brother, listen to me very closely. The purpose of your life is to submit to the authority of the King and to do what He says to do. Now, you thought I was going to say something much more profound than that, didn't you? No. What we are to do is what He calls us to do. What we are to be is to be what He calls us to be. Where we are to go is where He calls us to go. Is your purpose holy and completely submitting unto Him? Do you recognize that trial comes, and through that trial He is so good and gracious that He allows you to rethink the purposes of your life? And finally, when you come to the very bottom of all of it, you recognize that the purpose of your life is simply to submit to Him and do as He has told you to do. I want to tell you right now, the best thing for you, I don't care if you're 7 years old or 700. Right now, when you hear this truth that God has brought trial and trouble and all of His experience, He will also use that to help you rethink your purposes. And your purpose is not to be the best at your current vocation. Your purpose is not to make the most money. Your purpose is not to have the most influence and the most power. Your purpose is to submit to Him lovingly and gladly and just do what He has called you to do.